calling it Operation Moonglint.
Moonglint?
Yeah, I don't know where they've picked that. Moon Howlers, maybe. No, Operation Moonglint. They revealed some further details, injuries to stewards, to police officers, and a 10-year-old boy was hit by a coin as well, sustained an injury. So, look, utter mayhem, as you can see on the screen there. But the police are saying, if you're on that pitch, expect to get a chap at the door. Now, that's all very well and good. I hope that it's more than just words, because as we talked about the other night, there has to be more from whether it's the authorities, the judicial system. If people are going to step onto a football pitch and break the law, they have to understand there's a consequence. It seems to me that this entitled generation seem to believe there's no consequence to anything they do. So we've got banning orders, we've got plenty of cops. Let's go and do something about it and get these people out of our stadiums. That would seem like an appropriate reaction. I also believe, by the way, just to add to that, I believe that the chief executive of the SFA, Ian Maxwell, will also meet with police as part of this operation this week. So this will gather momentum, this will gather steam, and it could have the potential to be actually a watershed moment. I've written a column for tomorrow, Dan, and I'm very critical of the sort of ultra culture and the impact it's having on the Scottish game. I thought we saw it with our own eyes yesterday, exactly what that looks like at both ends of the ground, it has to be said. I just wonder if it's time to really take this issue seriously. I wonder if it might be time for the authorities to start looking at putting together some sort of code of conduct, which has to be adhered to. And if it's not, look, the ultras won't care about that. Of course they won't.
Yeah.
They might start caring if it means points getting deducted from their team. And the only reason, because it seems to me that they believe that they're the big event, they're the big show. That's fine. But see, when you're surrounded by grown adults who have a low tolerance level for damage being done to their team's chances of winning whatever particular tournament they might be entering into, then I believe what you get is an element of self-policing among supporters. And if these kids don't care about, any consequences from the police or from security inside the stadium, they might care if they're surrounded by grown men who are not at all pleased with the behaviour, and especially if that impacts on their team's position in whatever table.
But I mean, unsurprisingly, we've got plenty of comments on this coming in. If you want to get involved in the conversation, please do so. Mark says, cowards wearing masks perfectly sums up Rangers. Mick, before we come on, I said to Keith, who actually looks in the mirror before they go to the football and says, right, wallet, keys, balaclava. I mean, you need to really have a long, hard look at yourself if you're going to football in a balaclava.
Yeah. Listen, people talking people looking in the mirror before they go out. I better keep my mouth shut. I mean, it's the way I leave the house sometimes. I can't comment on anyone. But listen, I've got to be serious.
But you've not got your kneecap balaclava on, Mick.
No, I don't. That's true. Listen, I'm very serious tonight. I've got even my glasses on, so I'm definitely, this is a serious show tonight. So I'm being very serious. Listen, I think we also have to bear in mind before we get into this, the meat and bones, all this is that this is not the majority, right? This is a few hundred absolute brain dead idiots on all sides who are ruining it for everybody. I mean, this we are talking about. I mean, it's not small numbers. Right? We're talking about these clubs have got such huge fan bases and they're big, huge crowds at these games. And we're talking a couple of hundred that are causing the problems here, because very much the majority want to go to the game. They want to wind up their rivals and all that stuff. And listen, we can get into the sing songs and all that stuff, right? But and by and large, they want to go to the game, hate their rivals, win the game, celebrate, go for a pint up the road, and the next day go out their work and talk to the guy who's the rival supporter and wind them up all week, and vice versa. That's the majority of the country. This wee section who are louder than anyone, are causing more hassle than anyone, and they're actually spoiling it for everyone, because we're getting back to this was meant to be a kind of dummy run as such, to go back to kind of full allocations. I think it'd be a shame But listen, I think it's not going to happen now. I think that idea now can go right out the window. And it's a shame because the vast majority of fans on both sides want to go to these games home and away and support their team and get back to where they were for decades. Not going to happen now. It's just not going to happen because the police are not going to allow it. The police need to do their investigation. Listen, talk about Operation Moononglint. Is that what you called it there?
Moononglint, yeah.
Well, I mean, what was it? Operation Epic Fury's American one. This is Operation Epic Fail. The policing in Stirling failed on Sunday because, and the evidence is in front of us because they didn't contain the crowds. The possibility, this is, the first time they went back to 7,500 away fans, and it wasn't contained properly. Listen, I'm not saying you can say fans are blameless for all this behaviour, but it's there to be policed and it wasn't done properly because the evidence is in front of us. Because some fans got on the pitch and were throwing things and doing the dummy fighting thing. Some of them were actually fighting, but the majority of them were doing the kind of the shadow boxing thing, running 70 yards, hold my jacket, hold my back routine, and running back. Aye, I mean listen, I think we can go through the ins and outs of what happened. But it was a failure. It was a failure of policing the failure Sheridan. And by the way, you walk into Ibrox and Parkhead for these games, it's like a dystopian nightmare. There's that many officials, that many police and horseback and police cars and stewards. I mean, literally, there's more luminous jackets than about a 90s rave. I mean, honestly, and yet this still happened. So that has to be looked at as well. Because
Matt, can I come in there, right?
Yeah.
See what you recall. I mean, I certainly recall, and it's been this way for as long as I can remember. If you're at, I think they call it a Category A game, if you're at one of these, on almost every occasion that I can remember being at one, you would see 5 minutes from the end of the game, coming out of two corners of the ground, a wall of yellow cops, with a high vis. And they would completely go around the parameter of the pitch and form a wall at the point where the access can be made to get from the stand onto the playing surface. I wasn't there obviously yesterday. I'm pretty sure that didn't happen. And by the way, this is now, so you've got a potential for mayhem because of the fixture, just because of the fixture itself, because of the fact that also, more Celtic fans inside the stadium. It's always going to have the potential to be volatile, but it goes to the most extreme part. It's a penalty shootout to decide who goes through. I cannot believe that there wasn't that yellow line all the way around the parameter of the pitch. That should have been in place. And if it wasn't, then you're absolutely right, Mick. That's a failure. It's a failure of policing. Now, by the way, that doesn't mean that anyone should be condoning what actually happened. But why wasn't that there? Because I've seen it all through my life of watching and going to games like this. That the stream that comes out from two corners of the ground and they walk round and they encircle the place. Yeah. If that's not there, then why wasn't it there?
Yeah, and I mean, listen, was it 9 arrests on the day and on the match, and God knows how many are in the city the rest of the day. But you almost think that there should be dozens of wagons lined up outside the street, and like anyone who steps foot on the pitch for no matter what reason, you're in the back of the van. I don't know if you can arrest 200 people at one time, but you can get 50, 60, 70 in the back of a van and ruin their weekend. So I don't know. Listen, I'm not. I've got a difficult job, but I'm watching it unfolding, and you can see Celtic fans had on the pitch, and it wasn't. They didn't invade the pitch to go and attack Rangers fans. They were on the pitch celebrating. It was getting selfies with players and all that stuff, and grabbing and the manager and all that. There wasn't there was some goading and all that stuff from afar, but there wasn't an advance to go and combat anyone. But obviously that antagonised the other end of the pitch, thinking they're on our patch and they're celebrating. We're getting on, and a wee band broke onto through the kind of security cordon at that end, and then they kind of stood around thinking, "Well, we managed to get through. What happens now?" And they almost
Mick, that was a wee Spider-Man team that came on them. Well, 5 or 6 of them managed,
and then they get confused what to do next. They broke the cordon.
They thought they were getting honours. They expected to turn around and see thousands of their mates. And they were all standing back in the stand. Then it was kind of one of them. I thought the kiosk. Well, have I gone the wrong way for the kiosk, guys? And then they kind of went back in. And then it was when the older guy an older guy, I think he's 47-year-old,
Aye.
jumps on and tackles the Celtic dugout with one of the Martin O'Neill's backroom staff.
Yeah.
That seemed to me to then be the trigger that the ones that had sort of breached it and thought about coming on and then thought better of it, then they all come on.
And they
All the
swamped it at
wee
that point.
Spider-Man Gimpy guys.
But at the point that the first ones break through, that should be reinforced, and there should be more action taken. Exactly, it's obviously there's a leak in that line that had to be filled, and didn't do it. And then, like you say, see that part, Stephen. There's guys wrestling silly background team at the ground and all that stuff, and there's folks scrapping. There's the wee individual scraps breaking out. At that point, you genuinely think this has got potential to turn into something absolutely generational bad.
Yeah.
And my first thought was, I looked up and Martin O'Neill's in the thick of it at one end, and you're thinking he's a 74-year-old man in there.
Yeah.
And there's punters running to he's track off the pitch, and the Celtic official track the pitch. This time there's dozens coming on the pitch as well, and you're thinking this has the potential to go so badly.